Okay, so if you like to move on.
Yes, I can. I will start to talk about Digital Valley and our connection to the video game ecosystem and the high-tech technology here and the companies here in Portugal. And after that, I start my presentation too and sharing with all. So to talk about Digital Valley is promoted the first line by TechFrame SA. It starts like TechFrame alongside. And after that, we have lots of companies, international companies, governments, studios, investors, associations and federations on esports too. And we start to make something very interesting here in Portugal, because we start to develop our ecosystem, IT and gaming. The main goal on Digital Valley is connecting IT companies, universities, academic institutions, indie studios, associations, private companies, governments, public companies from Portugal and around too. It's a non-profit initiative, and we believe we can work all together, we can all be bigger. Everybody can join Digital Valley for free. It's a commitment, and it's a word of working all together. What we are providing to all of you. We're providing talent here in Portugal. I'll show you in the next presentation that our government is working very hard to start new policies to bring international companies to Portugal. We have new investment policies to video game industry and on technology too, develop the national video game ecosystem and tech. And we are working with Portuguese government, municipalities to support these new projects, national and international, financial and taxes support policies too. Internationalization for the Portuguese video game ecosystem and internationals that want to go to Europe from Portugal. We have an open space from our government to receive these applications to be here in Portugal, with lots of new policies to help and provide new conditions to bring international companies to Portugal. We are developing, incubating and accelerating programs for the video game ecosystem and from tech too, helping new ecosystems on tech and video game industry, and developing programs to inclusion, diversity and equity on the IT and video game ecosystem with some special partners that we have. It's social partnership with Miss Elisângela Souza, the first Black Brazilian woman to found a social startup business here in Portugal. It's a very interesting project that works on giving some education to the ones that usually are forgotten on the company's side. Developing international partnerships to promote business between all the players. It's one of our main goals. And we can start to present what is the IT and gaming ecosystem here in Portugal. I can speak about some highlights. Portuguese video game ecosystem, we have 94 companies here in Portugal, Portuguese ones. We have another ones that are foreign investments. 28 of them send 160 video games to the market. From 2016 to 2018, we have 265 million euros, and the video games production growth between 2014 and 2018 around 648%. This is a source from our agency, government agency, Assespro by Newzoo. Some informations, international journalists and specialists say that Portugal will be the next European hub on video game sector. We hope so. And we are investing and providing new policies to this sector. So it's an open market too, to IT and gaming studios and companies that want to invest here in Portugal and support our studios too. We have new indicators from the ecosystem that show us the video game are in fast growing on 2023 years in Portugal, serious and entertainment, new investments, acquisitions, and new academic projects that are turning in indies and in a new valued games in mobile and multiple platforms. International studios are coming to Portugal. We are negotiating with some of them. Publishers and investors are looking to Portugal as a new market too, searching for talents and establish here their new studios. Our government and new European policies and approach to new markets from the Portuguese associations and Digital Valley are a turn on to the Portuguese ecosystem. We are developing open to new contacts that are happening every day between countries to start new partnerships and big new investment on Portuguese video game projects. We have benchmarking here in Portugal because Madeira, it's Iceland from Portugal, is developing a video game cluster consortium and investing in new idealization and acceleration programs. And from north to south of Portugal, video games are emerging between the universities and the polytechnics too. Portuguese games jump cities are being developed in partnership with Game Jam Plus by Digital Valleys. It's an idealization program after selection, the continental finals and the world finals at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, that ones are not selected at pitch can pitch at Portugal Game Summit. That will be the first international Portuguese B2B that we are going to develop here in next October. I will speak about them later. Municipalities, game dev programs that are working on receive international new projects from studios and publishers too, and receiving the new projects from the academic will attend the new programs and new policies to support these companies here in Portugal, the Portuguese and the foreign investments too. So this is an tremendous effort that all the associations here in Portugal, like the associations of developers and the distributors and the Scientific Association of Video Games and Digital Valley community, involving our government, international government affairs, and whole world video game communities. Everybody is working to have a big hub here in Portugal for video games. So if you are on this area, please contact us because we have our agency that helps to approach the international investments here to Portugal and give them some highlights and all the support that you need. So for this first presentation, I would like to share now my screen. Let's see. I will try to do it. Okay. Have you already seen it? Are you seeing the presentation? Yes?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so right now I'm talking about what are innovation status here in Portugal on technology sector. This is our data from our Assespro Portugal Global. It's a government agency that works on receiving international investment and also provides to Portuguese companies or another ones that are here in Portugal to start the internationalization. So we have here in Portugal what we can talk about highly qualified technology talent and the source of innovative solutions that are coming from our universities and polytechnics. We have a very qualified technological talent that give us a unique value in any time and any process of innovation. This is how Portugal is now known as a high qualified talent. So what is the stage of our high-tech technology and hub here in Portugal? Our IT sector is very mature. It's much dynamic. We are always working on new projects. And we are resilient too. I think it's the one of the characteristics of the Portuguese people. We have now a great capacity to export our products on IT, and we have been growing up in very significant ways on the software companies in recent years. We have developed so many new products that are spreading out for all the world. So the IT Portuguese companies offers products, but we are very strong on offering services too, because we have new people that are coming every day from our universities and polytechnics that are very prepared to be or to work on new achievements and new innovation projects. So we send lots of talents to multinational companies that are coming and establish here in Portugal to work with our talent and qualified technicians. So we have a very robust technology startup here in Portugal. We have a grown-up startup ecosystem that is always growing day after day, because we have lots of acquisitions here. Some investors that are coming from all over the world come to Portugal and buy new products and new technology that are developed with IT startups. We have a great number of unicorns per capita here in Portugal. I think we have already a large number of unicorns that is bigger than in larger countries. Our government is supporting them and giving some support on new policies to start internationalization. And some of the unicorns starts here in Portugal, and after that they are going to United States, to Brazil, to Asia. Because our market, it's not so big as they want to spread their products and keeping growing. So we have, just as I said in the last slide, we have the majority of IT on services, because we have lots of software publishing that we provide to international companies, and some data processing to hosting very related activities, web portals and services. We have around our IT structure of our ecosystem. We have around 69% of all the consumption here and the development services on this area. You have 27 on trade. We sell some computers and peripheral equipment that are developed here in Portugal, and we have some retail peripheral and computer programs here, and specialist outlets. So the production is around 4%. We have new data that say that Portugal is increasing the production, the trade and the services for the 5 next years, because we have lots of policies from our government that are starting to be increased on this IT sector. So we have from 2015 to 2020, as we have seen IT sector increasing a very important place on our PIB in national economy. It's one of the most promises growth on the sector. So we have year after year, from 2025 and to 2020, after the pandemic crisis, we start to grow up again. We have a stop on the crisis, but after that we start to export on this area and start to present other services, and we have a turnover here, and the value is increasing every year. So what we can say about IT services, we have grown from around 12% from 2015 and 2020, because we have lots of investment, international investment, Portuguese investment here in Portugal, and we start developing new products. And we seem to be IT providers and IT talented that we serve every ecosystems on the world, because you have the producers of the highest talented engineers in Europe. They come from our universities and polytechnics. And absolutely our computer service exports increased totally from 2015 to 2020. We have a huge sector here in Portugal when compared with our markets. We have a robust startup ecosystem, and we have some of the international unicorns that has a lot of dimension. and they are valued in more 23.9 thousand millions. So all these unicorns started here in Portugal, and now most of them are spread to all the world. They can stay here only in Portugal because this is not a huge market, and we need all to make an internationalization system. On Portugal, it's a good way to invest because we have lots of conditions here. We have the talented, we have the strategic localization. These are data from our ICEP Portugal rule. And we have access to the European markets. It sounds like 500 million people that we can connect, and we have a bridge to Portuguese speaking markets. So we think we have an open door that people that want to come and companies that want to come from Latin and start a business here in Portugal, or internationalization from their countries. And here in Portugal, we can help them to spread their access to the European market. So it's a safe door to come. We have the safest countries in the world. We are localized as a green place and a country to start the business with low risk. So it's very important to start a new business. And of course, just like I has mentioned, our major asset is talented. Our government is doing a great job here in Portugal, and they are creating attractive incentives for the companies that are here in Portugal, start here in business, and they have lots of investment that are coming from the European Union to start here a good business with financial support and taxes for the international ones. And we have lots of programs here in Portugal for the foreign countries. Our startup ecosystem is developed by Startup Portugal, that is a non-profit public organization, association, that works constantly to improve the way that the foreign country can come and start their business here. You have around 8 programs that are offered to the international ones. We have the Portugal Golden Visa program. We have the productive investment, the FID investment, job creation investments, and we have Compete 2030 that it comes from European Union. All these programs are available in our Startup Portugal, and you can apply them. And you have ICEP Portugal that we are working with them to bring new investments to here into Portugal. You have a large program in upskills. We have a switch program to provide international talent to come to Portugal, and the Portuguese talents to go to collaborate in international companies too. And we have a program called Qualify IT, that is the digitalization program to bring more education on these areas too. So we are open door to the international ecosystems. We just don't work with only with Lusophone countries, but we are open to international countries that are interested to come to Portugal, to establish here, to use our talent technicians and engineers. And ICEP Portugal, that is a government agency that is focused on encouraging the foreign companies to invest in Portugal, are open to work with you. There's no cost associated with that. Digital Valley is also working on providing new partnerships to our IT and gaming ecosystem. We have around 120 companies that are working on a platform and start new business. There's no cost associated. So if you want to come to Portugal and use all the programs that our government is offering to the foreign investors, you have Startup Visa, Tech Visa, Business Abroad, and Empreende 21. It's another program that is financing the projects here in Portugal. And we have special vouchers for startups here in Portugal and vouchers for incubator system. So what are the collaboration that we are asking for? We have many clusters here in Portugal that are producing new technology for these areas. These are the most important and that our Portuguese government has shared. So we have aeronautics, architecture, engineering, sustainable and habitat, health cluster, forestry industry, smart cities Portugal, information and communication electronics technologies. We have textile production technology product. We have tourism, and on gaming, we have serious games, entertaining games. We have all these clusters to open doors to international and foreign countries to invest here in Portugal and to be established here. So we have top Portugal tech and gaming events. It's a way of making business here in Portugal too. You have a very important conference to developers. We have a landing festival that is the Europe's biggest tech careers event here. You have GeoEcon Lisbon, that is academic conference that is developed here in Portugal, in Lisbon. We have the Immersive Government Summit, the Ultimate Technology on Business Growth Conference that is in Madeira. We have the known Web Summit that is a very promising way to doing business. And we have a special announce to do. We have Portuguese Game Summit that will be the first Portuguese International B2B Summit on video games and tech. That will be on October 24 to 27. It will be developed by Digital Valley and partners. And we have during 4 days business leisure tourism that is called a new way of making business. We are open calls to all the countries to come and to present their showcases. We have international major top key speakers. We have pitch to investors on academic projects, on indies or startups, on tech or video games. And we have a Meet to Match that we are starting to put on the air because we want to be a special hub here in Portugal to develop new ecosystems on IT, on and gaming. So if you are interested, please contact us. This is my contacts. If you have any question or if you want to be interested on coming on Portugal, Digital Valley will help you. So it's the end.
Well done, Goretti. I have to ask you that we move on to your companies that are presenting. We went overboard a little bit on the time.
Okay.
So if you can introduce your first company, please.
Yes, we have Carlos Moura from TechFrame. He is a systems house and he starts to investing on video games too. And the founder and the CEO, or the co-founder and CEO, will present TechFrame's pitch.
Thank you very much. So the floor is his.
Hello, good afternoon. Everybody's listening. I would need, Goret, can you stop sharing your?
Yes, of course. I'm trying to, but. Sorry, okay. So.
I think you're watching the presentation, yes? I can hear you. The
yet, Carlos.
I suppose so. Okay, thank you. So I'll be trying to fill the 5 minutes on schedule and leave 5 minutes for questions. I will make a short presentation of TechFrame as a company and as one of our major products where we are investing and we are developing. So what is TechFrame? We are a systems house, like Goret said. We are basically believing and working on creating what we expect to be a global company. And we believe that great companies are so because they have strong cultures. So we have one history, one team, one philosophy. We're founded in March 2000 with activities started in January 2001. We have been growing organically through consolidation of our product lines until 2008, when we had a VC operation of roughly, it was a bit over 400K, like it said, it was 450. And we had 2 years later a management buy-in, and we regained the capital that was spread with VC operation. Since 2015, we have diversified into 3 areas that I'll present in the next slides. And since 2018, we have been investing a quarter of our annual income in research and development, since we believe that that's the way to be on the forefront of technology. From 2021, we had an explosion of projects and new businesses, and now we are on a strong path of internationalization. Internally, we are divided in 3 major areas. We have information systems, which is our main area, where we have systems like Darwin Suite, Darwin Graphical Search Engine. These are systems addressed to the IP sector. Then we have a few other projects that are either in development or in the market entry phases, basically are information systems. Then we have an area of military and security, where we have Praetorian. Praetorian is the software that protects the presidential palace here in Portugal. We are working on a simulator for parachutes, and we have a project with the Airpol that is now starting to be designed to train and support the agents on the field protecting the airports in Europe. And then we have gaming and entertainment, our newest area, where we have several projects, and where Digital Valley, that Gorete has just presented, where Digital Valley is included with 2 major programs, Game Dev Friendly Municipalities, and Portugal Games Summit, the B2B that Gorete announced. Several other projects. Okay, Ring Championship is a game for hockey, but wheeled hockey, not ice hockey. And Game Vitae is a platform for the gamification of clinical devices. We are, as I said, in a strong path of internationalization. We are already in these countries, Portugal, Spain, Angola, Macau, and through a partnership in Austria, in Germany and Switzerland. We are at these days entering Brazil and Mozambique, and we have then a very ambitious program to enter the United States, Mexico, Canada, United Kingdom, France, Italy, South Africa, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, which is a program that we will have in the next 3 years. Now, about one system in particular, our new kid in town, we have developed under the support of the European Community a system called Darwin Graphical Search Engine. This is an engine or a technology, a framework addressed for the intellectual property sector, which is our historically strongest area on the company. And this system in particular addresses one problem that everybody working in this sector had, and I will show you. The only way to address, I believe everybody present in the meeting knows and has been probably around some intellectual property assets. You just register a trademark because you want your exclusive usage of that trademark and that your investments are protected and owned by you. It has been a practice for many years to defend textual trademarks, but when we're talking about graphical trademarks, it is a very much harder thing to do. And the solution was to protect it with these codes, what is called Vienna classification. In this case, this on intelligence trademark had this particular Vienna classification, and this was the way to find similar trademarks to protect my registered trademark. The problem is that with this particular Vienna classification, I would get trademarks like these, which have the same components, but are quite graphically different. What we have developed is a solution that has results like this. And now I will show you in the 4 next slides some benchmarking. This is the results for a trademark listed here on the top. I think you can see my pointer now, and this is the results
Carlos,
from
we are
Yes?
we're not seeing your presentation. You have a green box on the bottom, share
Yes,
screen.
I did screen. I have
Well, I'm not sure which window you're on, but over here, in our Zoom Canva. Oh,
You're
now
seeing
it's
it
coming
now?
in. Yeah, now it's coming.
Oh
Oh, it is.
God. I've just spent, you could have said it earlier, because I've just spent half my time showing what, a blank screen?
You
Okay.
have, but you're doing well on your narrative, so keep on.
Okay, but well, just a narrative. Okay, so I was presenting the system, the graphical protection system, just showing that if I, just going back a little, if I try to protect and defend the exclusive use of this trademark, I basically have this code, this Vienna classification to help me. But with this Vienna classification, what we had were things like these that are quite graphically different. So what we have developed is a system that once you enter a graphical trademark, even with textual elements, it retrieves and finds very similar trademarks. I was now presenting the benchmark for between Darwin search engine and our, I would say, top competitor, which is the official European Union trademark system. And as we can see, we have what we say, it's a much better quality results, either on trademarks like that. Once again, this is our search and our results. This is the results from our benchmarking. Another example. And one final example where we can see that for the same trademark, our results are quite more interesting. Now, in terms of functional positioning, and this is just 3 slides, and I'm running because I would like to have kept under the 5 minutes, but in some quadrants relating data integration and search results, we are here benchmarking with what the results we have seen, which is the results from this system. And now we are comparing with 2 other systems, also 3MView and the World Intellectual Property Organization IP portal, that all of these have graphical searches. So in terms of better search results, or in terms of search results in that integration, we position ourselves here, and we are planning to move into the top right of the quadrant, which is the best position, by integrating more jurisdiction and doing fine tuning of the parameters. In terms of number of functionalities versus user-friendly, we are already in the quite good position, but again, we plan to go ahead further, gaining ground from our benchmarkers and I would say competitors with more functionalities and the revision on the UI UX. The project ended on the 28th of February last month, and so we are still working quite a lot on this. And in terms of performance and stability, we are also in a good position. Paying attention that this positioning quadrants is by us. It's, well, as best as we could find it, but nevertheless, you never say bad things about your sons. So we're doing all trying to position and saying what we believe is the position that we have, but paying attention that this is not done by an independent analysis organization. And so here we believe that are in terms of stability as good as we could be, but in terms of performance, we would increase our performance once we enter in production hardware. And keeping or trying to keep 5 minutes of the presentation, here we are looking for partners to go to our internationalization effort. And now I'm open to questions from the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carlos. Well done. Especially that you only have half of your slides on. But let me take the lead on what you're affirming here, that you're looking for partners. Who is your ideal partner profile?
Well, it depends. We have three possible partner profiles that we are looking for, depending on the size and maturity of the market that we are entering. We need a national partner for every country that we want to enter. When we have 227 jurisdictions in the world, but the ideal profile would be a systems company, a software company that is already working the law sector. That would be the perfect partner. It has the knowledge of the technical words from the law sector and the knowledge derived from being a software company.
So a software company that actually produces an ERP for law offices?
Something like that.
Like that?
Yeah, something like that. An ERP for law offices or provides services, search services, for instance, document classification, that sort of thing for law would be the perfect partner for us. It has been what we have found in Austria 10 years ago, and it has been working perfectly since then.
Very good, Carlos. And how do you harness the value proposition on numbers when you compare to your benchmarks? Right? Because if they do come with a result, you have a more accuracy. I'd like to learn how you translate that accuracy in a value proposition that has a number attached to it.
Okay, so basically what you have to do is once you, I'll have to be a little more precise on the answer and take a few more seconds. Okay. You do this because you want to have the certainty that once you register a trademark, and if you're doing it globally, you have a lot of investment to do, and you want to know that there is nobody anywhere with a trademark that is similar to yours. First, because you want to use the exclusive rights of your trademark that you're going to register. And second, because you don't want them to gain from the marketing and the efforts and the budget that you do on the marketing of your trademark. If they have a similar trademark, then they're going to gain from it. And you do that by doing a previous search of what is in the world, what is out there. And we can see here that not only the results from our system is much better, but when you look here, up here, you see that this trademark, this search in particular, returns 16,225 results. You don't see here, but we basically give under 100 results. So you take 5 minutes analyzing the results that you have. Here, you will have to look into something like 16,000 results. And on the last page, you can have a trademark that is similar to yours. So our value proposition is basically time, your time, which is the most expensive, rare, and valuable asset that you have.
Great answer.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else like to make a question to Carlos Mora? Carlos, please make your presentation available through Goretti, so then we can make it available to everyone else. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you all.
Goretti, next one in line.
Yes, next one in line is Mohamed Sattar from Infinity Games. It's a very known video game studio here in Portugal. Mohamed.
Hey, hello. How are you?
Hi.
Nice to meet everyone. And let me just share the screen and make sure that I do share the screen. Am I sharing the screen?
Yes, you are.
All right, amazing. So I'm here to talk to you, and I'm not sure if you are seeing me double. Yeah, now it should be full screen. All good to go, right? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm here to talk to you about Infinity Games. We are a game studio focused on minimalism and minimalist games here in Portugal. And basically at Infinity Games, our challenge has been the fact that games tend to be associated with the negative effects of mental health. So if your children, they are playing games, you will think that it's a waste of time and they are probably not healthy as they should. And the market is currently overflowed with low quality and fast-paced games. The trend on hyper-casual games on mobile has generated lots of, I would say, trash in the app stores, on the Google Play and App Store. So this is our challenge, and our solution and our proposition at Infinity Games is being a mobile publisher that only publishes high quality, beautifully designed, minimalist, and cozy games. These are aimed to relax and to reduce player stress. This is our vision and what we want to achieve with our games. And this happens because we have been looking at the numbers through time, and looking only at the last few years, there has been a huge growth in monthly downloads in the puzzle category, in the simulation category, which are the categories that we operate as Infinity Games. And we do see that puzzle games are a significant contributor to this growth, and that's where we focus, but always with this relaxation proposal. We have also seen a few meditation apps that has been growing a lot in the last few years. You probably know Calm, you know Headspace, but these are apps dedicated to meditation. These are not games, but these apps, they tend to help you on reducing the stress, reducing your anxiety, improving our focus. These are all experiences that can also be built on games on your mobile device. We have been looking also at the trends in relaxation. There is a growth in the use of these apps, and a growth in the need to use this type of apps for relaxation, and also associated with the mental health and well-being priorities in everyone's lives. Nonetheless, there hasn't been any real approach into relaxation in games, and that's the opportunity that we are tackling right now. And more recently, we have been seeing this trend, this growth of cozy games. These are basically games where we just have no specific challenge. You just want to be there to experience with other players a calming and relaxing environment. And these games tend to have a very unique art and a very relaxing and cozy atmosphere. And we are seeing that trend growing as fast as never before, because if we see the launches of cozy games this year, this seems to be a huge trend in the market. And for that, we have Infinity Games, which provides essentially games that are cozy, relaxing, minimalist, and that help players to reduce stress and make them relax. We are doing this since 2016, but on a game basis. So we have different games, around 30 games in our portfolio, and all of them tend to have this relaxation type of experience. We are a team of 25, based in Portugal and around the world. We are usually featured by Google and Apple whenever we launch a game. We have just launched a game called Linea. I strongly advise you to play that game. And it has been featured by Apple in new games that we love, new games that games that we are playing, and it will be featured as Game of the Day on Apple. It will be featured also by Google as new games, new and updated games. We were part of the 2021 Google Play Games Accelerator program, which really provided all of the skills for us to begin growing faster last year. We have a presence in UK McDonald's restaurants with 3 of our games. So if you go to a McDonald's in the UK and go to those tablets where usually kids and everyone, they tend to use those, you will find some experiences to relax in McDonald's. We have an upcoming title to launch on a streaming subscription service. And we also have one title to be launched on a vehicle, on cars, which we cannot yet tell which subscription service is it and which car brand is it. We are using a lot of automation tools for publishing and promotion of games, so we can develop our games in-house and do the publishing process ourselves. As I mentioned, most of our titles, they always have a way to play without ads and without in-apps, and one of those main ways is through Google Play Pass. I would say that around 15 titles are already on Google Play Pass. 15 titles from Infinity Games, which is a subscription platform where you can play set of games for like $4.99 per month, €5 per month or something like that, and have access to all of those games without ads and without in-apps. And our games are actually relaxing and minimalist, and they follow this cozy type of trend. So people do tend to like our games within the Play Pass catalog. More recently, we are going to add 8 more games into the Play Pass catalog. We have 4.4 million users, 4.4 million users, active users per month. We have 200 million plus downloads, and our games, they all have a rating at around 4.5 plus. We have around 30 games in our portfolio. Looking at the financials, we have been bootstrapped. So I founded this company in 2016. I'm a sole founder. Sometimes I wish to kill me because I should have found more founders. It's not a good thing to be a sole founder. Yeah, we have been growing for profit and targeting profit. So our goal is always to generate a profit at the end of the year, because we have never raised capital. I think this is one of the very few pitches I've ever done for the company. So, but we never raise, we never focus on that much. We are cash flow positive. With 2-digit growing revenue. Last year we did 2 million in euros revenue, and this year we are expecting to reach 3 million, while the rest of the marketing is a bit stagnated. We have year-on-year revenue growth between 2021 and 2022 of 48%. Our EBITDA is quite good; it's around 35%. And yeah, in financials, I can dive more if you need. And this is kind of a picture of our team. Even though we are all remote, or mostly remote, we have headquarters here in Lisbon, in a small city called Odivelas. It's in the neighborhoods of Lisbon, but we have people from all over the world. And this year was last year's event, when we brought all of our team into Portugal to meet, to eat pastéis de Belém, which is a nice thing to do in Lisbon, and also to meet a bit about our headquarters. We have people from all over the world, and we are remote first, and we are trying to build games that aim to relax. So what I'm here to talk to you is essentially about what we have been doing. Essentially, we are now building an app that will enable you to have endless amounts of relaxing experiences. We are working with some universities and research institutes to make sure that that this app tailors those scientific goals of relaxation, of increasing focus and other things. And we are targeting to launch that app only by next year, because we want to make sure that it's something really beautiful, clean, and helpful, and scientifically validated. And yeah, essentially my goal with this speech is to present to you what Infinity Games is about, and to figure out if there are any opportunities that we could tackle together in the gaming market, always related to the mental health, to relaxation, to minimalism. Eventually, if we are open for investment, it's not something that we have closed doors, but so far we have been living without it. And yeah, overall, it's just to go more in that direction. If you need more details, I'm here to answer.
Well done, Mohammed. Perhaps you want to come over to Brazil or go to another geography and find some founders. Because if you're looking for investment, you may need those founders. Yeah, that's true. I know that investors don't like to invest in a sole founder. And one of the things that I've been looking a lot is to find a company that we could merge, a company that would be more or less on our size, bigger or smaller, but around the same size, that we could merge and that way I could be part of the founding team. And so when you're looking at relaxing games, and from the examples you showed, you're very focused on the B2C. Yeah, correct. Any vision on the B2B market? Yeah, we are working with one car brand at the moment, where we are going to supply them with one of our games into their vehicles. That's ongoing in process. It's already in contract, and we have a deadline to deliver it in 1.5 months. So
it will be interesting to see this approach in B2B and how we can have our games with them. Of course, the final consumer will be the one playing those games and not the company itself. But if we are looking into B2B deals where we are supplying our games for, I don't know, for a facility where they want to relax and unwind, we are not there yet. We feel that we need to develop this new app, that we are working closely with some research institutes where the programs would be scientifically validated. We have done a research before with one of our key games with the University Católica of Porto, and the results were interesting because we have compared our game with the other two titles such as Bejeweled and Tetris, and our game really helped players relax much more than the others. Nonetheless, we feel that we are whatever we are building, we are publishing on the store and for the general consumer. Nonetheless, there's an opportunity to build kind of a service both for end consumers and for other companies where they can provide that to their collaborators. For instance, if you look at Calm and Headspace, what they have been doing is a lot, besides having that available for all people to subscribe to their services on the stores, they also allow people to companies to provide those services for free for as a healthcare kind of insurance package. So that's a way we can tackle. Nonetheless, I strongly want this scientific validation. We are part of the eGames Lab consortium, which is based in Madeira. And this consortium has some investigation research grants that we are going to use for our research purposes. And eventually we can have a top-notch product here that can be not only used by end consumers, but also be through B2B type of provider services.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I was going to say, there's a productivity component there that could be very attractive for developing the B2B business. But then again, you have to go, of course, through the validation process. Anyone else like to ask Mohammed anything about the Infinity games? Can we download them from Apple Store?
Yeah. You should download the latest game, which I think is our best creation so far, which is called Linear. I can share the link on the chat.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Mohammed. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah. So, Gorete, we have one last.
Yes, we have. We have Marco Bittencourt. He's from the Consortium of Madeira too. His company is called Red Cat Pig Studio. He's operating on video games. It's a very promising studio company here in Portugal. And he has made the internationalization too, because he's been investing from another capital on Red Cat Pig Studio. So let's hear it, Marco.
All right, Marco.
Hello.
Hello,
everyone. What's up? So this is going to be a first. I mean, I'm gonna do a 5-minute pitch in the middle of the airport. So it's gonna be interesting for sure. So long story short, my name is Marco Goret. Thank you for kind words, Mohammed. I mean, congrats on your pitch. You know I love you, man. So my name is Marco. I'm the CEO of Red Cat Pig Studio, game development studio based in the Azores. So, and we are now moving to Madeira. So we are conquering all the little islands from Portugal right now. I'm gonna do a quick screen share right here so we can move on very, very quick. Okay. So
we're seeing it. All good.
Am I sharing? Probably.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So Red Cat Pig. I mean, I founded this studio in 2019 after a first round of investment through business angels. Then just a quick story on our investment. 1 year later, Portugal Ventures and Best Horizon, which are two of the biggest VCs in Portugal, got in touch with us with the will of being a part of our cap table. In 2019, when we raised our first round, I mean, our evaluation was only 500K, but we didn't have any games. It was just a with just a white paper, just a game design document. Then 1 year later, when Portugal Ventures and Investorizing came in, our evaluation was basically 4 times, so 2 million. And this is what we do. This is our vision. I mean, our vision is to create innovative and high quality games for every platform with a focus on commercially engaging franchises. So in the beginning, I created Red Cat Pig to only work on one game. This game was called Kill. It's a fast-paced vehicle combat game, and it's already on Steam. In early access, we got 2 million activations. Not like the mobile world, like Mohammed was just describing, but we are focused on PC and console. When we released our first title, which was Kill, something interesting happened, which was we started getting contacted by some other studios. So right now, I'm going to explain this whole thing. This is how it's looking. So Red Cat Pig, I know it's reading 27 personal right now, right there, but we are actually 32 at the moment. We are based on a very healthy ecosystem, which is in the Azores, which means that high quality of life and low cost of living. So amazing combination. We have a scalable workforce. In the last 5 months, we got 200 applications. This was all spontaneous applications. We have really good access to lines of funding from the EU to peripheral regions, which means the islands. We are platform and game engine agnostic. And yes, we are opening a new studio in Madeira, and we are getting a grant of 1.5 million from that grant. I mean, those are just some of our awards. I'm gonna skip. Those are the founders. This is the current structure of the team. I mean, you see that. I mean, I'm not too much of a fan of decks, so I will just go over them and I will explain everything in just a minute. So this was our first game, Kill, the one that got a bunch of awards, especially PlayStation Talents and Eurogamer. And we got, on the first giveaway, it was only 24 hours and we got 1 million activations. We were actually featured as the fifth game with more downloads on that day on Steam. Then we got another 700,000 activations on the next 72 hours. I'm gonna skip something real quick. Now we have Overshock, which is another game that we are working on right now. And long story short, we have several business opportunities here. I told you that we got contacted by a bunch of studios. So we found a business opportunity, which was working side by side, co-developing games for other studios. So I've heard on the last speech questions about B2B and B2C. Well, Red Cat Pig does it all. I mean, we are working on our own IPs, and that's the B2C side of things. But we are also co-developing games with other studios that looked at us and said, "Hey, those guys are doing something different in certain engines. So let's get in touch with us." So we are now working. In total, we are working on 4 games, and we have another 3 on the pipeline. And something that is also very interesting is the fact that all of our games that we are helping in co-development, they are all on the blockchain. So this is another aspect that we are exploring a lot, which is gaming on the blockchain with NFTs and crypto, but we stay away from the whole crypto dark side of the force. We like to make our games 100% focus on gameplay and not on the crypto world. However, it's an advantage to have that technology right beside us. That gives the right of ownership to the players. I mean, we are very much in favor of that. This is some of the games that we are working on right now. This is the kind of graphics that we can deliver. I mean, everything very AAA kind of visual. This is some of our partners that are working very close with us right now. Meta, Red Bull, I mean, PlayStation Talents. I mean, we have some of their awards, Alienware as a brand, AMD also. This is what we are doing right now. I mean, in terms of revenue, 2021 was our first year that we got revenue. Now, I founded the studio in the end of 2019. So the studio is pretty young yet. Our first year of revenue was in 2021, and we got around 60,000 euros, nothing special. We closed 2022 with almost 600,000, and everything going well with all the projects and contracts that we are negotiating right now. We are on our way to have a 5 million revenue in 2023. So very promising here. Yeah, this is the bunch, some of the crazy guys that we have in the studio. The studio is located in Terinov, which is a tech park in Terceira Island. As I mentioned before, we are now making our way to Madeira, thanks to the thanks for being a part of the Madeira consortium. And long story short, and I know that my time might be up, what we are looking for. Okay, our studio right now, we are doing an evaluation of 10 million, and we are looking for a minimum of 1 million on a new round of investment. We are also exploring some offers that were made to us to buy out some of our current partners, and our current partners are okay with this, especially because most of them are business angels and they are not as much into the gaming industry, and they just want to make a profit. So we started already conversations regarding to possible buyout of our current partners. So this is something very real for us. I mean, we've been having a lot of conversations with different funds to go into this new round of investment. And yeah, and this is just another opportunity to get to know everyone and getting our word out there.
Thank you, Marco. Well done. So
Thank you,
I
thank
didn't catch, what round? What's the size of your current round?
Well, we are raising a minimum of 1 million. Ticket sizes can be 500K. The evaluation is 10 million.
So you're giving it 10% for 1 million.
Exactly.
And what are you going to do with a million?
Well, that 1 million will be helpful to work cash flow to get the 1.5 million from Madeira. Because here's the thing, the way that the European grants work is they don't advance a lot of cash. So you spend it and then they reimburse you. So we want to increase to get a little bit of a security cushion with that, so we can go easily into the Madeira consortium, and also to get into at least 2 new games that we have in our pipeline. And we already have parts of the funding locked from Meta and for other partners. So it's basically getting pipeline out and helping cash flow for the Madeira consortium.
So curiosity, what's the shelf life of a particular game?
Well, we are talking about AA plus AAA games, and our focus is it's always game as a service, which means that you can spend basically 2 years, almost 3 years producing it, but then if your game is successful, you can count on around 5 years or 6 years of a shelf life, or even more. Just look at Fortnite and others out there. So it's a game as a service. We are not too much of a fan of single player, so we like multiplayer hardcore games with services running on top of it. So there is always cash flow. I mean, there's always revenue by seasons, by cosmetics, and all of that. So that's the biggest, one of the biggest differences between the games that we do and the games that Mohammed does. The good thing is that there's a market for everyone, and that's awesome. But that's the difference. While you can spend sometimes 6 months delivering a mobile games, on our case, well, you can spend 1 year, 2 years developing a game, or even more. Because I mean, and that's why I decided right in the beginning that, okay, we need to get seed funding. We need to have funding to get this over with. So I didn't have the opportunity, and I wasn't able to bootstrap such as Mohammed. So our strategy was very different. So just putting ourselves out there for business angels, we were successful. Then 1 year later, we were very attractive, and then Portugal Ventures came in, and Best Horizon also, and we want to keep using that model. But now that we have proper KPIs, we know that the studio is very, very profitable, especially comparing 2021 revenue with 2022, and all the things that we have going for 2023.
So in a nutshell, your main challenge right now is funding.
Being honest with you, 100% honest, we can keep doing what we do without the funding. And this is me being honest with you. The funding here is very important for us for one reason: to have that cash flow security, in order for us to go towards with a faster pipeline. I mean, we can get to all of our pipeline. It just wouldn't be as fast if we have investment in. That's our goal. I mean, we are not dependent on the investment to go through our pipeline. It's just a matter of being able to deliver the pipeline faster, specifically.
Okay, so last question would be, looking at this process of developing new geographies. So is it, do you have to actually promote? Because people just download your game, it doesn't matter where I am, but you have to promote it in country, correct?
Exactly. I mean, the good thing about the new digital gaming scenario, the fact that I press a button and the game it's available worldwide. That's some of the things that all the digital stores brought us, was the fact that, well, I just press a button and the game is available. Now, what is important to us is making sure that our publishers or our marketing team, they are comfortable with new ecosystems, with new geographies. For example, China is a very complicated country, so you need to have a partner there, which we do. And China doesn't like to have a game being promoted directly by an European studio, for example. So we need to have a local partner. Now, my will to expand to other frontiers is not to make a better distribution of the games. It's in order to get more talent in. That's why we're going to Madeira. We have a good critical mass there. But I've been looking into proposals from tech parks from Dubai, Bahrain, and even Brazil. But my goal is to expand in order to get more talent. I know that those are countries that have amazing talent. We have people from Tunisia and Turkey moving to the Azores to work locally with us. So we have amazing talent out there. We want to keep scaling. We don't have any issues about attracting talent, but I know that with a physical presence, it would be easier. And I have a background in Brazil. I mean, I went to Brazil when I was 1 year old. I lived in Rio de Janeiro until I was 16, but then my family got back to the Azores. We decided to go back to Portugal. So I know how it is, and I was raised there. I studied there, and I know how the talent is. So that's my intention. It's to have a physical location there to attract talent physically. Now, well, funding is needed for that too. So if we're able to raise what we are looking for, a chunk of that funding can be used into that direction. And I'm just saying this because we have investors looking into us right now. I'm going to give you an example from Dubai. And the main thing that they ask us is, all right, we'll put the funding in, but you're going to build a red cat pig here. And you need to put here at least 1 or 2 of your seniors and try to hire people from the region, I mean, juniors. And I think it makes total sense. And that's what we are looking for, is ways to deploy Red Cat Pig in geographies that are interesting in terms of talent, in terms of resources. But we cannot do this by ourselves right now. So if we have support to do that, more than welcome to go ahead.
Well, we share something in common in not being locally here and have been raised here. So you are Portioca and I'm an Amerioca. And let me tell you that, Guarechi and Digital Valley are in the process of signing an agreement, an MOU with Assespro in Brazil. So we should look further into this because I'm sure there are going to be opportunities, be interested in learning more. Thank you very much, Marco.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Well done. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the halftime. We now have a lunch break. We are supposed to be back here at 2:30 p.m. Brazil time to move on to Argentina and Brazil. So I'm gonna let anyone make any comment that they would like to make now before I let you guys go for lunch or for dinner, because I see I have Dan and Emily still here and I have people from Pakistan still here. And they're looking at their supper, not their lunch. Perhaps, sometime they're gonna turn around and they're gonna see their breakfast pretty soon. But anyways, I want to thank you, everyone that's here. I hope you see you back at 2:30 p.m. Brazil time, so we can see what Argentina is all about and what Brazil has to offer.